I am very, 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 very sorry.
Are immigrants, especially those from Africa, finding themselves betrayed by their own people?
I've been through a lot. If I need to get a tattoo, I'll tell them. I have a lot of testimonies of people that I have helped, and I'm not going to stop because of this negative energy.
In recent years, a troubling trend has emerged in the UK, where people of similar nationalities seem to be turning against one another. From a sense of betrayal to whispers of snitching, a word now echoing among many immigrant communities. Something is shifting.
But I have to be honest, if you'd made the application yourself,
no,
you couldn't have, could you? Because you didn't have the money in the bank account.
No, I don't have bank account, money in the bank account. I have one.
So you would never have got a visa had you not used fake documents?
No, madam, no.
If I need to get a tattoo, I'll tell them to write this country now. Wow, my head.
Why are some of the very people who fled to the UK seeking a better life now facing challenges that go beyond discrimination? And why does this feeling of disloyalty run so deep?
Someone also has come out to do the same thing MD Tiamiyu did in June 2023.
UK is my dream country, so that's why I'm choosing the UK.
In today's video, we explore a growing concern. Are cultural ties weakening? And what does this mean for those who came here for hope and opportunity?
So how many of you remember this guy? What's that his name again? MD Tiamiyu. How many of you still remember him? Okay. So this video is based off what actually happened in June of 2023. So when this news broke, the viral nature of how this video went was more than fireworks. It was a big problem. I wondered how he survived it, because a lot of people would have actually gone into a point of no return mentally. I remember him coming up with a lot of videos, having to explain himself over and over again to aggrieved Nigerians, because Nigerians were really pissed off. I was pissed off. I was, because I really didn't understand where he was coming from. I didn't know the motive behind granting that interview. But who am I to actually judge what was actually going on in his head? I'm not too sure.
I am very, 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 very sorry. Please, this is difficult. Please find a place in your heart to say, maybe this guy is not the thing that we saw. Because I wouldn't watch a 25-second clip of you and judge your entire life by that. There's more to this. There's not so much I can share, but I am sorry. Please, I beg you, please forgive me. And if there's an opportunity to correct this on any platform, I will. This is an issue that data is already being gathered, and the data were part of the conversation. So there's nothing I could change or do. If it was a live interview, I know you will not judge me like this, because you will have a chance to watch it from start to finish, and it wouldn't be cut.
How many of you think that this guy really didn't know what he was doing as at the time he was granting this interview? How many of you think that? Because when I keep watching this video and I look at him being so expressively happy, like unremorsefully happy, this kind of a very freelance, he carried himself with so much freedom when he was granting this interview, and it makes me look at it differently. Did he actually know that the video or the interview that he actually had BBC come around was something that was going to mar his life for a very long time? Did he look at it that way? Or was he just thinking it was just a mere interview? Because it really doesn't make sense. Okay, I would invite the BBC and I sit down to tell them something about my people that would give them enough weaponry to come after my people. It doesn't make sense. What do we call that? Is it snitching? Or is it just ignorance? So this was something in the back burner, and right now we have something in the front burner. Someone also has come out to do the same thing that MD Tiamiyu did in June 2023.
UK is my dream country, so that's why I'm choosing the UK.
I would try as much as possible to just make you understand what is happening here. If I juxtapose these two scenarios, if I bring these two storylines together, it feels like it has a similar narrative, but the approach is also different. I don't really know if you understand what I mean. What I think here is there is a difference between what Tiamiyu did with BBC, and that's why for a lot of Nigerians we try to refer to that as snitching, yeah? Compared to what this Indian guy did. It looks like this is a cry for help, something like that. It looks like he is crying for help, at the same time he's snitching, as it were. So I really don't know how to place it. So this young man, this Indian guy, has done exactly what Tiamiyu MD did in June 2023. He has granted interview, a 1 week long interview, even more than the snippet that was taken out of Tiamiyu's BBC interview. This was a whole 1 week interview. He was followed around within the neighborhood. He was filmed everywhere for 1 week, and he exposed everything. Now, why am I making this video? When this came out, when a lot of people saw the interview MD Tiamiyu had with BBC, there were just no name in the book that this guy was not called. Name it. All nasty kind of names. Tiamiyu MD was called. I am in no way, shape or form trying to encourage snitching or encourage all of this telling. He actually told, fine. Just because this Indian guy's story just came out, and that's why I'm making this video, so that let's juxtapose this. Let's compare this. Let's see what is happening. Because as at the time this video came out for Tiamiyu, a lot of Nigerians started comparing the African community, the Nigerian community, to what other communities in the UK wouldn't do if this was flipped. A lot of Nigerians said, and a lot of Africans also said, Indians will not throw their people under the bus. The Pakistanis would not throw their people under the bus. The Caribbeans will not throw their people under the bus. We made a lot of this comparison. If you get to see the demography, the setting of a lot of residents in the UK, by the cultural actions and by a lot of things that people do, you can confidently tell which cultural group would be able to do what. If you are in London and you get to hear some level of achievements, some level of cultural display, some level of religious activities, some level of crime and illegal activities, there's this way of somehow trying to ascribe it to a certain culture, or a certain ethnic group, a certain people, a certain nationality here in the UK. And that is why I'm trying to bring this out, because we really brought this to the fore. A lot of Africans, a lot of Nigerians, Ghanaians, and all of that, when they saw this Tiamiyu's video, they said it, hey, we've said this thing before. Only Africans, only black people would throw their people under the bus, because Indians cannot do this. The Caribbeans cannot do this. The Pakistanis and most migrants from the Middle East would not do this. A lot of people came out to say that. Even when it comes to other activities in the UK, besides what happened with Tiamiyu's BBC interview about Japan and all that, besides all of this, the kind of negativity that comes within the black community, within the African community, we always ascribe it. We always try to compare it to other ethnic groups and nationalities in the UK, saying a lot of African women and a lot of Nigerian women especially tend to call the police on their husbands, tend to ask their husbands to leave the house. In fact, they are very happy. That is the narrative. Supposedly, that's the narrative. That these African women, Nigerian women, tend to call the police on their husbands. They are very quick to asking for divorce. They are very quick to saying, move out, I want to be alone, I really don't want you in my space, you can just go. They are so quick to doing that. And the narrative goes as far as saying, other cultures in the UK do not do that. Other cultures in the UK, like the Caribbeans, the Pakistanis, the Indians, do not do this. There is this other narrative again I would want you guys to listen, that I would want you guys to hear. I was having a chat with someone, an African, a Nigerian, and he said, Most Indian women do not work. Most Pakistani women do not work. Why? Because they have a culture of not letting their wives come out. So the 50-50 talk we talk about, they don't do it. The men take responsibility of everything. So even if you have a percentage of women from this culture that work, it's a very little, very minute percentage, so to speak. You get to hear all of this comparison just, coming out everywhere. That's why it kind of like makes sense for me to compare this. If we have been saying for a very long time that the African community, Nigerian community, the Ghanaians, who are residents in the UK, have a way of telling on themselves, on their community, on their culture, on their country people. Now, this video is out. An Indian immigrant whose wife actually came to the UK via an international student route is now telling on his people. The same storyline, but the only difference here is it doesn't look like this guy just sat down and wanted to just snitch, as it were. I think he, in a way, is crying out for help. But by crying out for help, I need to tell. I need to explain everything so that you guys can help me. This is how the storyline goes. So this Indian guy, his wife got the opportunity to come to study in the UK in one of those universities in England. And there were processes that happened that made her to qualify to get that visa to come to the UK. Those processes, this Indian guy exposed everything. So when they came to the UK, after going through all of those processes, so you're going to watch the video, I'll put the video here, you get to see everything so that you would understand exactly why I'm trying to compare this. So the processes of having to come to the UK to study, that's the wife, remember. So when they came to the UK, they were told during the process in India that they wouldn't need to do anything. When you come to the UK, all you need to do is just dump the school. Just dump the school. You have the rights to work. So quickly get a health and care job, quickly, and request for a certificate of sponsorship. That's the COS. When you get that, you can change from your student visa and be on the skilled work visa. So guess what? One very interesting thing I want you guys to know is this very interview happened around the same time TMU's own was going on.
Really about getting into the UK.
Exactly.
And
It's
then
not about the
studying a
education.
job.
It's not really about the education.
These hundreds of videos are guides on how to get a student visa to come to the UK.
Because there's new information regarding the student route to the UK.
Last year, a fifth of international student visas were issued to Nigerians. 120,000 people in total, half of them students, half their dependents. But MD believes many are actually coming not for a new qualification, so much as a new life.
So the student thing is not really, it's not like they need the degree. They need the degree as an access route to come into the country. So a lot of these people get their priorities shifted real fast.
So it's really about getting into the UK.
Exactly.
And then
It's not about the
studying a
education.
job.
It's not really about the education.
It clearly happened around the same time because the rules have changed now. If it was something recently, definitely they wouldn't have been able to go through it because you can't be coming in as a student and try to switch. It doesn't work right now. The rules have changed. This happened around the same time. I'm confused why TMU's own came out so much and this guy's own was somehow hidden. It didn't come out. They didn't talk about it. It's just coming out now. This video was posted just 10 days ago. So I'm just wondering, if we had a video of this Indian guy snitching, as it were, around the same time that TMU's video went viral, I was thinking that these two stories would have actually come out, kind of like simultaneously. And a lot of confusion would have actually been in the air. Maybe TMU's own would have had a soft landing because for the longest we've been saying other cultures do not snitch. TMU has actually gone rogue and we have his Indian counterpart that is doing the same. Probably his own would have had a soft landing. But guess what? No. TMU's video came out, went viral, and this guy's video has just been on the low. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this video has been out there. And if this video has been out there, why haven't we had a lot of people talk about this? Why haven't we been in that space where someone should have compared this around the same time this happened, because definitely this happened around the same time. Okay, you would watch the video and you would get to see the timeline and how everything transpired. You would get to see all of that. Okay, I wouldn't want to go deep into the story so that you can watch for yourself and get to understand exactly what happened. So basically, Tiamiyu told, and this Indian guy also told. If you watch this video, you would see a lot of things for you to compare. Tiamiyu sat down with a BBC journalist and said a lot of things about how Nigerians and how Africans try to fake the student route just to Jagba, just to seek greener pastures in the UK and not necessarily to study. This young man did the same process, came to the UK, and is now finding it difficult to survive because the school actually cancelled and withdrew their sponsorship of the wife. So she got a notification from the Home Office to leave the country in 60 days, so to speak. And that was where hell broke loose, because they had no job and it was very terrible. No job, no food. They had sold everything back home just to get this process to pan out. And now they're here stuck and stranded. So it was kind of like a cry for help. And they had to tell you know, when you have, you know, back home when you have someone who steals and maybe he's been caught and probably is about to be lynched and all that, and you are being asked sincerely, tell us the truth, what happened, and we would leave you. We wouldn't touch you. You know, this guy will say everything just for the fear of his life and just to get himself out of this mess. Maybe somehow to exonerate himself in some cases. Okay? So imagine how you would tell. You would say everything. I think this was how this guy found himself. He found himself in a place where he needed to tell, he needed to snitch to get himself out of this mess. That's what I think about this. But Tiamiyu actually invited these guys to tell them freely what he feels about the study, migration route, and the survival narrative behind that travel, which we have all come to understand as Jagba. You know, that really went viral. Okay, so that's the storyline here. That's the storyline here. And I want us to just, you know, compare all of that. The goal of this video is to understand that we humans are not perfect, okay? What this guy did 2 years back was very damaging. I understand a lot of people's lives were crumbled. You know, people who genuinely were trying to flee a certain state of their lives, a certain, you know, worry in their lives, you know, because I still understand if people are also traveling to study, but that may not be their major reason for living. That is still not a problem, because these people have empowered themselves. And in some way, this empowerment, this academic empowerment, is still going to trickle down positively to the environment that you find yourself. The UK is an environment that has welcomed a lot of different ethnic groups for so many years. And the main reason for accepting people coming to the UK is to help the UK grow economically, socially, and mentally in a lot of spheres. Academic sphere, in the entertainment sphere, the sport, social and mental sphere, the health space. The UK accepts a lot of different ethnic groups to come, you know, just to help the system. So even if people see it differently, that you were trying to travel in deceit and now you've really acquired it, because a lot of Nigerians have acquired this education. The education is not going to waste. They have paid for it also. It's not going to waste. But for the fact that you are seeing it from a different aspect of someone not really coming to study, but an avenue for them to leave their homeland, I still don't see the merit in that conversation. I don't see it. Because give and take, the UK still benefits. Still benefit, because a lot of these migrants are working day and night. Go and see them. They are working crazily in sectors where the original inhabitants of the land would not work. Even if they do, they don't work those long hours. So who is losing and who is gaining? So it's really funny. I don't see the merits in that argument. But be that as it may, he snitched. And in our community, snitching is really not the right path to take. So let me just leave you guys with this video. Let's just watch exactly what this guy did. But just like I said, these two stories have different motives. Because also I was watching a part where Tiamiyu said this.
The goal of granting the interview was not achieved.
Yes. So TMU says that he's pained because he did not achieve. he said that he's pained because he did not achieve the goal, the aim of granting that interview. So you can actually understand that it's really confusing there. What was the goal? What was the aim? So let's watch what must have been this guy's motive, this Indian guy, why he had to tell everything. But guess what? This guy's face was blurred. This guy's face was, covered. Tiamiu's face was just there. This guy's, everything was covered. He was protected. And the video coming right now still shows this guy is being protected. So I really want you guys to go in the comment section after watching this video and tell me if these two stories, if they are the same, and if they have the same not so good ending, which is the snitching part of it there. If in a way you think one was deliberate to mess up his own people, and the Indian one is just maybe a cry for help. Just go in the comment section and leave your comments there so that we can also read and understand what these two storylines and narratives are. So guys, let's watch this video.
This is a rare insight into the UK's immigration system, portrayed through the journey of an Indian family who ended up mired in debt and living in squalor after coming to the UK on student visas allegedly obtained using fake documents.
UK is my dream country, so that's why I'm choosing the UK. The greenery, lots of people moving, London. Then I decided, oh, this is a good place to move.
That was the dream. Then, for a man we're calling Sammy, this became the reality.
Small single room, and I sleep on floor. My wife, my daughter and my son, they sleep on the bed. And we keep some clothes here, small cupboard.
We first met Sammy and his family 4 months ago. At the time, they'd been living in this one room for well over a year, in a small terraced house shared by around 13 people. Sammy isn't sure of the exact number, but says there were other families and some single men.
Upstairs, 3 people there, the bachelors.
The house has a shared bathroom and kitchen. This wasn't what Sammy imagined 3 years ago when he first started Googling ways to get his family to Britain from India.
For how to go to the UK, there is a 3-4 options like visitor visa, skilled work visa and student dependent visa.
Preparing food in a cupboard in their room, this is Sammy's wife. Sammy says they used agents in India to apply for a student visa for her. He says the agents told them they could easily switch to a work visa when they arrived. This was the letter offering Sammy's wife a place on a master's course at a UK university. The rules have now changed, but at that time, Sammy and their 2 young children were eligible to come as dependents.
I can work full-time and my kids also live there with free education, free transportation and free healthcare.
But when Sammy's wife failed to show up at the university, the Home Office cancelled their visas. They got a letter telling them to leave the country within 2 months or apply to stay on a different visa. That was 2 years ago. Since then, the family have been in a cycle of getting rejected and reapplying for leave to remain, which is ongoing.
Would you like to come down, please? Yeah.
With his case still unresolved and struggling to feed his family, we next meet up with Sammy at a food bank. By now, it's summer 2025.
Would you like some oil?
One, please.
One oil.
Sammy says when they first arrived in the UK, they had just £1,500, which was gone in days, having paid the agents or criminal gangs in India more than £20,000, virtually everything they had to arrange their visas and university place.
First I sell my house, then secondly I sell my motorbike, Yamaha, thirdly I sell my wife's whole gold, earrings,
Gold.
the chain and some rings. This is.
So you sold everything
Yes,
that you
of course.
owned to give the money to the agent to arrange the visa?
Yeah.
But this is where the family's story becomes more complicated. These are the visas which paved the way for the new life they dreamed of. But Sammy says the agents obtained the visas by falsely claiming his family could support themselves financially in the UK, which in reality they couldn't. Sami says the gangs arranged for a bank in India to create 2 documents, one showing an apparent loan for around £25,000 to cover university fees and living expenses, and a second showing the family had an additional £10,000 in another account. In fact, Sami says they didn't have any of this money. We saw texts which appear to show one of the accounts being closed the day after the family arrived in the UK.
The agent put the money in account, which is fake, is nothing. He's just putting the money, after 1 minute he withdraw. But he create the document like I have that money.
So it's fake,
It's
fake documents.
110% fake.
So that you could apply with those fake documents
Yes, of
for a
course.
visa.
Not only that, Sami showed us a crib sheet he says the agent sent them, titled "Please be confident, don't get panic at the time of immigration," with tips on how to prepare for arriving at Heathrow Airport. There are suggested questions to rehearse answers for, such as what's the address of your university. Sami says the agent hand-wrote notes, including what his wife should say about her course.
The agent create one Zoom meeting, like 4 families, me and 3 other families. He creating one Zoom meeting and he explaining what the Home Office asking, what you have to say, what the Home Office going to answer, what you have to say. So they repeated every day 1 hour practice, like 7 days or 8 days.
I have chosen Bachelor of Commerce for the periods of 3 years and
This is one of the Zoom coaching sessions. Filmed by Sami, he says it shows his wife being questioned by the agent who's pretending to be a UK immigration official.
which course you are applying? I am applying MA International Research, Relation with Advanced Research.
Sami's wife practices things she plans to say if she's stopped on arrival at Heathrow.
Why UK? UK is a multicultural country. UK is the most popular abroad destination to pursue master degree. UK is the only country offering a master degree in a shorter period of time.
Again and again, she rehearses her name, age, qualifications, and what she likes to do in her spare time.
Yeah. Talking about my hobbies are gardening, reading newspaper, cooking, baking, etc. Talking about my hobbies are gardening, reading newspaper, cooking, baking, etc. I love to watch movies.
This was filmed in the agent's office. Sami admits it was never their intention his wife would study. Getting a student visa, he says, was just their ticket to move to Britain.
So to be clear, your wife was never going to go to university?
No,
never.
even single
Not
hour.
one day?
No.
Asma Haq runs the food bank. She tells us Sami's is not an isolated story.
There has been a sudden rise in the number of illegal immigrants that we are dealing with and we are supporting.
Having seen the immigration paperwork of most of the people who use her food bank, Asma believes 1 in 10 have either entered the country illegally or overstayed legal visas.
What do you think about the level of checks being done by the Home Office?
I just feel like that the Home Office's policies have been quite relaxed and there needs to be a tightened leash. It's just visas have been given left, right and centre so easily and so quickly, and the follow-up on the people who have entered into the country on those visas has been very poor. Sometimes I know, because I deal with clients, I know that some of them, as far as the Home Office is concerned, they've arrived legally, but then the paperwork they've supplied to the Home Office is actually fake paperwork, fake documentation that they've got processed from back home.
How do you feel about that?
Not happy, it's not nice. I don't think it's not fair to the people living in this country, it's not fair to the people who are giving taxes, it's a drain on the resources of the country. I mean, I'm an immigrant as well, but I've arrived in the country legally and I've paid all my taxes. It's not fair to myself and to other people like myself.
2 biscuits for kids, 2 kids.
But for now, with 2 young mouths to feed, the food bank is a lifeline for Sami and his wife.
As far as they're concerned, they haven't done anything wrong, but the reality only hits them when they are left penniless. They have no accommodation, they don't know where to go, and the agent stops making contact with them. That's when they come to food banks like ourselves.
We've been in touch with the family over the last few months. At times, the father has been very emotional over the situation they're in. However, he told us that at one point he threatened to take his own life outside a solicitor's office. The solicitor contacted the police contacted social services. Social services have now intervened and moved the family to new accommodation.
Sammy seemed more positive when we filmed them moving to their new local authority housing. The property is still shared, but there are no single men-only families. Conditions are much better and Sammy no longer sleeps on the floor. In a letter seen by Sky News, a senior social worker confirms to the family they have been supported with weekly subsistence, £610 a month, and temporary accommodation. The letter goes on, the family were assessed as destitute due to the parents' immigration status.
What do you say to people who might be quite frustrated that you've not paid any taxes and the British taxpayer is paying for this accommodation, your children's education, all of your healthcare, but yet you came to the UK on a visa obtained using fake documents?
I can say only thank you, but it's not my intention to came in the UK by the fake documents. I never think that I have to use this food bank, use this accommodation, face these problems.
But I have to be honest, if you'd made the application yourself,
no,
you couldn't have, could you? Because
no,
you didn't have the money in the bank account.
No, I don't have bank account, money in the bank account. I have one.
So you would never have got a visa had you not used fake documents?
No, madam, no.
Do you think abuse of the visa system is widespread with the use of fake documents?
Of course, 100%, 110% maybe.
Sammy's eldest son has serious bone and ear problems and regularly attends hospital appointments. His wife is going to mental health wellbeing classes. Sammy wants to be allowed to work legally in the UK.
Are you glad that you came to the UK?
I'm really happy to came in the UK. This is my dream country, but my application is still on the Home Office. The government will decide. I don't want to lose this great England.
But ever since our first meeting, Sammy has always clung on to the hope that with 2 young children, one needing medical treatment, the Home Office is unlikely to send them back to India.
There is a condition, if your kids with you, they're not going to detain or deport you.
In response to our investigation, a Home Office spokesperson said, "Since we have not been supplied with any identifying information in relation to this case, we are not in a position to comment on the claims made." However, stringent systems are in place to identify and prevent fraudulent student visa applications, and we will continue to take tough action against companies and agents who are seeking to abuse, exploit or defraud international students. The family's application to stay in Britain remains unresolved.
Now, before I go into discussing this properly, I want everyone listening or watching this right now all over the world that Africa is not really a bad place. Africa is not our home countries. In Africa are some of the best places that most people would actually want to be in terms of the feel of home, food, the environment, the weather, and also the people. Africa, our homeland, is a very great place. One of the major reasons why people try to migrate and leave Africa is just because there are a certain need in one's life that the government of African countries are really not ready to provide. Corruption has eaten deeply to a point where some of the basic needs of life are not being provided. A lot of people wouldn't leave Africa if all of these were provided. Things like good healthcare, social amenities, great infrastructure, security of lives and properties, great transport system, human rights, and the legal system being active. Laws should be implemented. These are the things that a lot of people seek for. They don't have it, and that's why they leave. That's why they can't stay. Some people can actually, adapt to that and stay back home in Africa. Others cannot stay. If you think of a country like the United Kingdom, the very minute you are in the plane and you take a look outside, this is the country that you're trying to immigrate to. From the comfort of your seat there in that airplane and you look out, immediately you begin to feel differently, because from the sky view down, you would begin to immediately see some form of structure. So basically that's why a lot of people want to live. And if you look at the scenery of most of the places in the United Kingdom, especially London, you would see why a lot of people just want to leave their homelands, because they really do not have these things back home. They don't have it. within the different ethnic groups in the UK and the different demography. A lot of people just feel they need to compare all of this, and that is why I'm also making this video. Do you think all of this makes sense? Do you think this Indian guy coming out to cry for help or to snitch is the right way to go about it? We already know about MD Tiamiu's case. I think a lot of people also said he was given asylum here in the UK. Other people went as far as saying he broke the asylum rules and was deported and all of that, you know. But these two stories should actually give us some sense of understanding that some people can be in a position where they probably don't understand themselves, they probably don't know what they are doing, and they just come out to say a lot of things. In the UK, in Western world, we begin to think about mental health of people. In what state do you find yourself sometimes when you talk and express yourself? What is your mental state? Are you okay? Is something wrong somewhere? And also when you look at the Indian guy's narrative of genuinely someone crying out for help, but he needs to tell just to get some form of help. So it's very big discussion there, and we need to see how to understand or comprehend it. So I want you guys to go in the comment section, leave your comments there. If you're new here, please, we just want to urge you to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you get to see my videos each time I post them. If you want to share, please share this video. It will go a long way to helping us on this channel. And remember, these videos are just for clarity so that you guys can express yourself and get to understand some things that are happening within the UK, happening around the world, so we can also be a part of all these discussions. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you coming, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Twali.